Welcome to our webinar. Thank you for joining. Just a couple of housekeeping items before we get started. Can everybody hear me okay? Dan, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Yep, just a couple of housekeeping items before we get started. Everyone has been muted upon entry. If you have any questions throughout this presentation, please add them to the Q&A section in this Teams webinar. At the end of the presentation, we will be addressing any additional questions. So I'm Colleen Schills, the Director of Customer Success, for those of you who are not familiar with me. And joining me today is Dan Dvorak from Beyond Limits for today's session, From Bottlenecks to Breakthroughs, 5 Ways to Streamline, Automate, and Succeed. So today we brought in the experts, and we really appreciate Dan and Lauren joining us from Beyond Limits to introduce you to DocLink, a powerful document management and workflow automation solution that seamlessly integrates with your ERP. I believe this technology has the potential to significantly enhance your organization's efficiency and effectiveness. Our goal for today is to demonstrate how DocLink can help you tackle critical business challenges, whether it's minimizing manual processes, accelerating sales order entry, eliminating bottlenecks in accounts payable, managing contracts, or ensuring compliance. By going paperless and automating these processes, you can streamline operations, reduce costs, and support your company's strategic growth. Before I hand this over, before I hand things over to Dan from Beyond Limits, just a quick reminder, please use the Q&A box for any questions you have during the session. We'll do our best to answer them throughout the presentation at the end. Dan, the floor is yours to get us started.
Thank you very much, Colleen, and welcome everybody. I greatly appreciate you taking the time to spend with us this morning or this afternoon, wherever you may be. I want to start the presentation this morning talking about, just a moment, the digital transformation. This has been an ongoing theme in technology for a number of years. And the digital transformation is not simply the ability to work remotely, those sorts of things. We've been doing that for a number of years. In DocLink's world, in our document management world, the digital transformation represents a great deal more. And most importantly, it represents the sharing of information. There is a great deal of unstructured information that resides on all of the documents that come into our business or that are processed internally in our business. And an application like DocLink enables you to share not only the structured data such as that would be in your ERP system, but also all of that unstructured data that resides on documents. And our ability to use that data to link documents together allows us to provide you a more complete picture of a situation. If you've got multiple documents that are linked together that need to be reviewed at the same time, DocLink is an excellent platform to provide that to you. Now, a lot of companies come to us initially to talk about AP automation, and we'll touch on AP automation as we go through the presentation this morning. But DocLink is an enterprise-wide solution, and DocLink can be used in literally every department of your company, your organization. We have customers who are using it in accounts receivable to facilitate the delivery of invoices and other documents like a proof of delivery, or maybe in a process manufacturing environment, you may need to provide a certificate of analysis along with the invoice, those sorts of things. Companies are using it for human resources. Later in the presentation, we'll talk about contract management. That may be part of the legal department, but even without a legal department, many companies have contracts that they need to manage. Field service, another common area. Facilities management. I was just meeting with a company that's using Dynamics just last week, and One gentleman in the audience was their director of facilities, and he's responsible for all of the equipment in their facilities, all of the repairs, replacements, all of those sorts of things. And he saw the possibilities for DocLink and all the information, that unstructured information that we can provide to him. We'll also touch on sales order processing as we go through. So these are just a few examples of departments where DocLink can be used, but again, it can be used in every department. So when we talk about the challenges that businesses face, there is a challenge about information access. Whether you are wholly back in the office, whether you're in a hybrid mode, whether you're still remote all the time, access to the information is critical. And DocLink provides the vehicle to give you the access to the information that you need. With DocLink, we can also create efficient workflows that streamline any approval or review process that a document may need to undergo. And we can route those documents internally, we can route them externally. It doesn't matter. It's a way that we can facilitate and streamline the communication without necessarily having to go through all the steps that are required to create emails and track emails, things like that. As we become more efficient, we're also able to reduce operational costs. We can reduce operational costs in soft dollars simply by streamlining processes and freeing up employees' time. But there are many hard dollar ways that DocLink is able to save organizations and businesses money in their processes. And last but not least, we have visibility, security, and compliance. Again, these are the kinds of things that often keep senior executives awake at night. They're concerned about maintaining certifications. They're concerned about compliance, a successful audit, all of those sorts of things. And these are ways in which DocLink can help them sleep better at night. Now, we'd like to start with a quick poll. And we'd like to know which of the following business processes is the biggest bottleneck in your organization. Is it accounts payable processing? Things like AP automation, invoice automation? Is it sales order processing? Bringing customer purchase orders in and creating sales orders from those? Is it contract management? Is it compliance and audits? Or is it something that we haven't listed here, but is still very critical to you? So we'll open the poll, and if you'll take just a moment to answer, I would appreciate it. And Kayla, when we have the results, if you'd let me know, I'll be ready to move on.
We've gotten 4 responses so far, Dan, so I think you might be good to
Okay.
continue.
All right. So how does DocLink work? DocLink starts with the database and repository that's represented by the circle there in the middle of the screen. And the first thing that we need to do is we need to be able to bring documents into DocLink. And we can do that through a variety of methods. We have the ability to take a scanned document and drag it and drop it into the repository. We can capture documents that you are creating in your ERP system, in your Acumatica or your Dynamics system. We can automatically capture purchase orders. We can capture remittance advices. Other documents that you're generating internally can be automatically captured and brought into the repository. We have our intelligent document capture, our OCR module that we will cover here in a few moments. We can use the barcode module. We can bring documents in from email. Many different ways that we can bring documents in. Once they're in the repository and we've captured the data, we can then process those documents. We can put them automatically into a workflow. You could put them manually into a workflow. There's a great deal of flexibility there. We can use our smart forms that allow you to add additional information or correct information if necessary. And when everything is ready, we can take that data and push it automatically into your ERP system. So whether it is a vendor's invoice that we have processed, we've routed it through workflow, it's been approved, and now we can push it to your bills and adjustment screen in Acumatica. We can push it to the AP invoice entry screen in Dynamics, so that you have hands-free data entry. We can do the same sort of thing on the customer side. So we can take customer purchase orders, process them, and relieve your customer service reps of the data entry that they're doing. We have full two-way communication between your ERP system and DocLink. So if we've pushed a document over to your ERP system and you make a change, perhaps you change the general ledger account number that the transaction will be posted to, we will pick up that change and bring that data back into the DocLink repository to keep everything in sync, because all of that data could be the basis for retrieving documents down the line. We can retrieve our documents through a web client, through a smart client. We also have a mobile app that you can use to work with documents. You can retrieve documents and do many other things through the mobile app as well. And last but not least, we can also deliver documents. We can deliver them via email. We can print documents out. We can download them. There's many different things that we can do with documents that are in DocLink to facilitate communication. Now, I want to start with our intelligent data capture. This is our OCR module. The OCR module is really very powerful in many different ways. You'll notice in this particular example, we have captured an invoice that is the result of a purchase order we have sent to our vendor. And for the PO invoice document type, we are going to capture automatically from the invoice. We will capture a number of different fields from the header and the footer. All of these fields are configurable by you, so you can decide what's most important, what do you need to validate, what do you need to capture to create a valid transaction. We can take that all the way to the line item detail. So we can capture quantities, item numbers, descriptions, units of measure, unit price, everything. And we can validate all of that for you as well. Here's another example of a packing slip. Packing slips are also a valid document to be brought through our intelligent data capture. And again, for the packing slip, the fields that we capture, many of them may be similar to the PO invoice, but there are differences, and we can certainly accommodate different fields based on different document types. So in the line item detail, we see we don't have unit pricing and that sort of thing, but we're able to capture the quantities, the item numbers, and so on. And last but not least, I've been talking about capturing customer purchase orders, and we can certainly do that. We can capture all of the information about the customer, about their order. Things like the ship to address are very important, and we can automatically capture that. We can also capture all of the line item detail, and in the event, whether it's on a purchase order, an invoice, any document, if there is any data that we're not certain about the nature of it, we're going to highlight it for you in red. And we can put this document aside and notify someone that they need to come in and pay attention to this before it moves on. So it's a very efficient way of streamlining the capture of the data, capturing the document so we can put it into a workflow and ultimately accomplish hands-free data entry. So not only are we minimizing the data entry, we're automating the capture of the documents and the indexing of the data. And the indexing of the data is really very important. It is key to DocLink because we're not dependent upon file names. We're dependent upon the data and using that data to link documents together and to also facilitate the search and retrieval of documents. The intelligent data capture module can also reduce the manual reconciliations that you're doing and the matching, the two-way and three-way matching that you're doing. We can use the existing data from your ERP system. So we have deep integration with Acumatica and with all the Dynamics products, and we're able to use them as the single source of truth and leverage the data that's in them for data validation, default information, all of those sorts of things. Again, to expedite the processing of documents. And as I mentioned earlier, when you make an edit in your ERP system, we can bring that data back into DocLink. We have an example of a customer that was able to reduce the time they spent processing customer orders and AR invoices by 90% by using our intelligent data capture, our OCR module, and processing things through DocLink. They automated both AR and AP, but they saw great time savings, a very short ROI, specifically on the customer service and accounts receivable side of the business. Let's talk for a moment about approvals. Of course, there's nothing better than the approval of a puppy, but when we talk about documents, we'll talk about the accounts payable process for just a moment. A very simple schematic of the AP process. When a document comes into the DocLink workflow, we're going to take a look at it and say, does a purchase order exist for this invoice? If it does, we're going to put it directly into an automated matching. You no longer have to put the purchase order, the packing slip, and the invoice on your desk and move your head or your eyes back and forth like you're watching a ping pong match. We'll do that for you automatically. And if there is a complete match and no further approvals are required, we will send that document directly to your ERP system. If there is a discrepancy, we'll set it aside. We'll notify someone to take a look at it. From there, it might be sent directly to your ERP system, or if it does need approval because there was a discrepancy, we can manually put it into an approval process as well. If there isn't a purchase order, it's a non-PO invoice, we can automatically put it into a workflow for approvals and GL coding. And when the last approval has been issued, we'll then, again, automatically transfer that document, transfer that data to your bills and adjustments or your AP invoice entry screen in whichever ERP system you are using. Again, streamlined, it's efficient, we're reducing costs, we are reducing errors and freeing people up to apply their talents and their skills to things that are more valuable to the company, hopefully more profitable for the company, and also hopefully more interesting for the people who are currently processing documents manually. When we put a document into a workflow, we have the ability to send those documents via email to the approvers. With the approval email, we will include a copy of the invoice so they can preview it, see exactly what's on there, know what purchase they're approving. In addition to the invoice, we'll also include our GL stamp that has all of the information, including general ledger account numbers, so that can be reviewed as well. And when the user is ready to approve, they can simply click the approve button or the deny button, as may be the case, in their email, and we will issue the approval without them having to log into DocLink. This is all done strictly from Gmail in this case, or maybe Outlook, whatever the email client might be. We also have the ability to add notes to any approval or any denial. The the approver, the reviewer, can add notes, and these notes will become a permanent part of the document. So it's there for the auditors so that they can see everything that has happened with this document. I mentioned our mobile client, our mobile app, and again, we have the ability right from the convenience of a smartphone to approve or deny approval of invoices or other documents from the convenience of a smartphone. Just had a conversation yesterday with a company, and their executives are traveling around the world, and he said that they will absolutely need to have this. It's very convenient and very effective. Now, once we have documents and they have been approved, we might see them in a list or a queue like this. The idea here, though, is all of these documents are approved and they can all be selected either manually by a user or by the system and sent to a ready to import status. At that point, DocLink will take over, and at the next interval, whenever the timer that you set rolls around, whether it's 1 minute, 5 minutes, once an hour, it doesn't matter. When that timer comes off again, we will automatically transfer the data from all of these invoices directly into your ERP system. The other thing that we find many AP people processing AP invoices appreciate is our workflow supervisor screen. Oftentimes, when they are currently sending invoices via email or worse, manually, they've got all kinds of side systems, whether it's in Excel or sticky notes or whatever it might be, where they're trying to track the progress of an invoice through the approval. Our workflow supervisor knows where every invoice, where every document is at all times. And so the AP staff may come to this workflow supervisor near month end and use this as a means of expediting the approval of any outstanding documents, outstanding invoices in particular, so that they know they have everything in, everything is posted, everything is accrued, and they're able to close their books on time because they're not waiting for a document that's out sitting on somebody's desk. Now, DocLink sits outside of your Acumatica or Dynamics database, and this brings several advantages. One of them is, for example, you may have employees who really don't need to access your ERP system. You may not want them there for whatever reason. For example, I'm going to pick on project managers. They have the need to see contracts, subcontracts, project plans, invoices that have come in for that project, perhaps other communications that have gone on between your company and your customer, for example. All of these are examples of things other than the invoice. They don't need to have access to your ERP system, but they do need access to all of those documents. And that's where they can log into DocLink. It is separate, it is secure, and as I've mentioned before, the linking of the documents will allow them to have a complete view of their project at any time. An example of our integration. This happens to be a Dynamics BC document. And you see here under the related tab, we're going to add a view documents button to the purchase order screen. When you click that button, we are able to reach out into DocLink and bring back either on your second monitor or as a separate window, if you're only using one monitor, we're able to bring back all of the documents related to that transaction that was on the purchase order screen. In this particular example, you notice we have 4 versions of that purchase order. So we're not tied to only the most recent or only the first. We can capture all the versions, all the revisions of a purchase order, of any document, and keep them in DocLink so that they're always there for reference and you can always get the complete picture. In this particular case, we have taken this purchase order, and on the right-hand side, you notice that we have automatically sent this purchase order to our vendor at doclinkbc@gmail.com. Again, the automated delivery of documents is something that DocLink does very well, and it's based on your business rules to automatically deliver documents. In an Acumatica example, we put that View Documents button right on the toolbar, right next to the Hold button, right next to the Release button. It's right there. And again, when you click the View Documents button, we can retrieve all of the related documents. We can retrieve the pick ticket, the sales order, drawings, delivery tickets, invoices, all of it can be retrieved. You can select one of them to open it. You could select multiple and have them open side by side. Here's an example of that side-by-side view. We have the sales order, we have the invoice and the pick ticket side by side for your review. And we can, again, deliver those documents directly to your customers. Here's an example of what one of those automated emails might look like. We have attached the invoice. We've attached a copy of the original sales order. The body of the invoice is completely configurable by you, so you can send exactly the message that you want to send. And again, this could be used with customers to provide proof of delivery, certificates of analysis, whatever it might be. It could also be used on the purchasing side. So as you send a purchase order, you could also send drawings, a custom bill of material, other instructions from the engineering department that your vendor may need to know. The process is really very simple. We're going to capture an invoice run. If there are routing instructions for the customer, we will pick them up. If supplemental documents are required, we will attach those and send the email directly to your customer. Another case study, talking about AP automation this time. We have another customer who saved $90,000 by automating their accounts payable process. And in doing so, they were also able to not hire another person for the AP staff at a cost of around $40,000, a $40,000 salary per year. Realistically, that $40,000 salary comes out to about $60,000 per year when you burden it with benefits and employer taxes and the like. So again, there are many ways that DocLink is able to streamline operations, improve efficiencies, and save your company a lot of money every year. So now we'd like to open up another poll and know, what are your top priorities when it comes to streamlining operations? Is it reducing errors that occurred during manual data entry? Is it accelerating the process so that, again, invoices move through the process in a matter of hours or perhaps a day or two rather than weeks? Is it enhancing compliance, reducing operational costs across the company, or improving customer or vendor communication? I'll give you a moment to answer. And Kayla, when you have the results, I'm ready to move on.
Looks like everybody answered.
Excellent, thank you. As I mentioned earlier, DocLink can handle all of these things that we see displayed on the screen. We can handle purchase orders and invoices and workflows and approvals and expenses and credit card reconciliations and all of those kinds of things. But DocLink is a strategic program that goes far beyond. DocLink is important in your audit. We have customers who have told us that they have reduced their audit prep time by as much as 80%. Some customers have also been able to realize hard dollar savings by reducing their audit fees through the use of DocLink. But there are many other ways that DocLink can be used, again, in audit and inspection purposes. I'll talk in just a few moments about ISO certification, reducing risk, maintaining compliance, all of these things. Again, these are the things that keep executives awake at night, and DocLink is very important in helping reduce that stress and relieve it so that they sleep better. We're going to use contract management as an example, but it can be used for things like ISO documents and so many other documents that may not be AP invoices or customer purchase orders coming into your company. We can use DocLink to keep the contract or the document template so that everybody knows which is the most current template that they should be using. From there, we can put it into a workflow so that we have the collaboration that we need. We have the necessary reviews and approvals, all of those sorts of things. And when it's done, we can send it out for an electronic signature by our vendor or by our customer or whomever the other party may be. And when it comes back, we can sign it. And then the document is stored securely within the DocLink database. No changes can be made. We know that we have the original. And we can always search for documents based on full text search or based on the properties, based on that other unstructured data that we have captured about that document. DocLink will manage your documents through their entire life cycle. In the case of a contract, we have the pre-execution steps. There's the original draft. There is the edit, the approvals, the collaboration that I just mentioned. And finally, the signatures. Now, after that, we need to monitor that contract. If there is an expiration date on it, we will monitor that expiration date, and we will send a notice to someone in advance so that they know they need to take action on that contract. We'll retain your documents for as long as you need. We do not automatically delete anything. If you set up a business rule for deletion, we will still present the documents to you so that you consciously and deliberately delete them. But you also have the option to say, no, don't delete one and continue to retain it. As I mentioned, contracts can be put into a workflow, just like you have workflows for AP invoices and perhaps for customer orders or credit memos for customers. All of these are different ways that you can use the workflow capabilities that are built into DocLink. Here's an example of that of an email that you could structure that is notifying someone that a contract expiration date is coming up. Perhaps it's only 30 days, 90 days out, and someone needs to know about this and take action. With all of our documents, like contracts, like ISO documentation, like so many other document types that you may have, we have complete version control. So while everything is stored securely and everybody has access to it, they also have to check out the document, and that will lock the current version until the revised document is brought back into the repository. Again, it ensures that everything is captured and maintains the security of that document. And again, we can put documents into a workflow so that everybody reviews them. Everybody has a chance to collaborate, add notes, and have their say. And it's far easier to use something like that workflow supervisor to track a document than it is to try to track it through Excel or sticky notes or a notebook on the side. Here is an example of our version control capabilities. On the left, you see the option to check out a document. There is a contract there on the top line. And so in this example, we're going to check it out. We can modify that document and then check it back in. And at any time, we can check the versions. Here we see an example of a document that has 4 versions. And you notice on a couple of the lines, they have added very simple notes that could be used to indicate where changes were made, what was added, what was changed, what was deleted, so that you have a quick view of the life cycle of that document, all of the versions. And last but not least, we do have direct integration with DocuSign. Very simple integration, works very well. A document can be sent to multiple signers. So had a conversation with a construction company that may need as many as 10 different signatures on a contract. That contract could be brought into DocLink. We could send it out to DocuSign with all of those 10 individuals indicated. It will go through DocuSign to have everybody sign the document before it's brought back to DocLink. And we also have communication with DocuSign to keep track of the document as it goes through that signature process. When it comes to searching for documents, we can use our standard search capabilities. And again, this is based on properties. It's not based on file names. If we had to use file names, we would have to develop a convention that covers all of the possibilities. And then everybody has to know that convention and use that convention every time. They have to type it accurately. They have to store it in the proper place accurately. With DocLink, we remove that stress and we use the properties. We use the data from the documents to link the documents and to facilitate the search and retrieval. And if we don't have data, if we're looking for certain phrases, or if you're looking for all of the places where Dan Dervarik signed a document, we have full text search capabilities as well. So we can find all of the documents based on a character string that you enter into the search criteria. We'll take a look at the standard search here for a moment. We do have our interface for searching. You'll notice on the left-hand side that we have several different saved searches. This, again, makes it easier for the users if they know that they are frequently searching for the same documents from the same company or collection of companies, and really only 1 or 2 criteria are going to change. We can set up saved searches and then just change what's necessary from time to time. In this example, we're going to search for AP invoices, packing slips, and purchase orders where the PO number ends in 11. Now, we're using a wildcard here, so we might end up with only purchase order number 11, but we might end up with purchase order 111, 211, 1011. But the idea is we're going to find the document and bring it back and allow you to work from there. And we will do it in a matter of seconds, much faster than trying to find purchase order number 11 in any manual file system today. So here we have an example of all 3 documents that we were searching for purchase order number 11 have been returned. We can click the checkbox at the top to select all 3 of them. And when we do, we're going to open them side by side on your screen. Again, giving you the complete picture of all of these documents. Here on the General tab, we see all of the data that we have indexed. The workflow history shows us all of the stops along the way. We also have the audit history that provides additional information all the way down to who has viewed a document and when. Again, very strong capabilities for compliance and security, those sorts of things. In this example, we've highlighted the icons that allow you to download a document, email a document, or print it. We also have the ability to tile the documents. So if you have more than 3 and you want to see thumbnails of all of them side by side in a couple of rows, we can do that as well. In this particular case, we have searched for an invoice and any payment that is related to the invoice. So again, the two are connected with the invoice number and the vendor ID, and we're able to retrieve them both very easily because that two-way integration between DocLink and your ERP system, when you generate a payment, we're going to capture that payment information and bring it back and associate it with the invoices that are paid. Another case study very quickly, Smart City Telecom. 80% reduction in annual audit prep time. I think I mentioned this earlier. They have all of their documents in the repository, and their audits are much faster, much smoother. They are actually able to provide their auditors with their own login to DocLink so that they could use those search and retrieval screens to get the documents that they need and not necessarily have to interrupt any of the accounting staff at the company. So one more quick poll here. What's the most important expected benefit that you hope to realize by implementing a solution like DocLink in your company? Are you expecting time savings? Are you expecting hard dollar cost reductions? Increased accuracy? Is compliance a concern? Or are you just looking to free up time and improve employee productivity? Kayla, if you'll let me know when we're ready to move on.
All good.
All right, thank you. So as we conclude here, I've talked about different ways that DocLink can be used simply within, finance and accounting, but there are many other uses. Unlike a siloed AP automation solution, DocLink can provide that AP automation, as we've already shown, but DocLink can then be used for so many other document types within just finance and accounting. Journal entries. Auditors are always asking to see the journal entries and the backup for those entries. And we can manage those documents and provide them to the auditors in a matter of seconds. If you have commission and royalty calculations that you need to keep and may need to distribute to resellers or other associated salespeople, for example, we can do that. W-9s, a very simple application, but very important. Credit applications, certificates of insurance, bank reconciliations is a popular reason to use DocLink for many of our customers. I've talked about indexing the data, indexing the documents, linking the documents, much more efficient than attaching them to individual transactions. because again, at the click of a button, the View Documents button, we can bring back all of the related all of the related documents, and you don't have to open up the individual transactions to go find the documents that are attached to them. Our workflow configuration is really very easy. If you can draw squares and circles on a sheet of paper and connect them with arrows, you're well on your way to creating a workflow in DocLink. We can share the information not only internally, but externally. We have the document distribution that I've mentioned along the way, contract management, of course, and I want to reemphasize that DocLink is an enterprise-wide solution. It's not a single lane solution. We're not taking the California highways that are 6 lanes wide and squeezing them down in a construction zone to just 1 lane. We give you all lanes to keep the entire company flowing as smoothly as possible. Other processes where DocLink could be used, and this is just a very small sampling. I've had frequent conversations regarding handling of landed costs. It can be a complex process for some companies, and we can help with that. Customs documentation is another one. Quality control or quality assurance documents. I've mentioned ISO. There's many ways that DocLink can assist your company to streamline your operations, improve your efficiency, and reduce your costs. So we have one last poll before we open the floor for questions. We'd like to know, and Crestwood Associates would like to know, what would you like to do after this webinar concludes? Do you want to simply discuss DocLink with your team and get back to your Crestwood representative? Would you like a personalized demo? Would you like to explore the integration with your particular ERP? Or would you like to schedule a meeting and discuss it further? Again, Kayla, when you have everybody's response, let me know.
I think we're about good.
All right. Well, at this time, I will be happy to take any questions. You have my contact information, but of course, you also have the contact information for your Crestwood representative. So reach out to either one of us. We work hand in hand. So if you reach out to me first, I will be sure to let your CSM from Crestwood Associates know. And if you contact them, I'm sure they'll get in touch with me. So at this point, Kayla, if we have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Of course. There's one that says, how does DocLink OCR compare to Acumatica OCR? Any pros/cons?
Well, the two are very similar in that they are reading and capturing the data. I'll say the advantage that DocLink has is we can apply it to many more document types than Acumatica has at this point. And we have lots of other functionality. So we have the data validation. We can do separate calculations right within the OCR module to recalculate and validate that your vendor, in the case of an AP invoice, for example, we can validate that they have accurately calculated the charges on their invoice. There's many other advantages that we have that our OCR module will provide that Acumatica doesn't have yet. And I'm not disparaging Acumatica. I like the program very much. But we focus on document management. Our OCR module and DocLink are designed and optimized for document management. Acumatica and other ERP systems are designed and optimized for transactional data. And that's where using the two programs in combination gives such a powerful and strategic solution, because you have the best of both worlds. I hope that answers your question. Next question, Kayla?
Yeah, we do have another question, another Acumatica question.
Okay.
Would documents attached to invoices use up storage space in Acumatica?
No, that's the beauty of having DocLink as a separate database and separate repository. The documents that are brought in are not consuming any of your Acumatica database. We link the documents to the transactions, and you can always recall the document from within Acumatica by using that View Documents button. And the beauty of it is we are not consuming your Acumatica database. We're preserving that Acumatica database for the transactional data that you are recording. But the images themselves and all of the volume of the images is kept in the DocLink repository. Again, a significant advantage of using the two programs in combination, taking advantage of the integration between them and taking advantage of the design and optimization of each of them. Next question,
Perfect.
Kayla.
This one says, when scanning documents, does DocLink validate customers, items, and vendors from the ERP system?
Yes, absolutely. That is part of that two-way integration that I mentioned. We use the ERP system as the single source of truth. So if you have, let's say you have received an invoice from someone and they have not yet been set up in your vendor master, it might be a fraudulent invoice. We're going to capture that and set it aside before it reaches your ERP system, because there is not a match. We cannot validate this vendor in your ERP vendor master file. So if there isn't a match, we'll set it aside. We'll notify somebody so that they pay attention to it. And if it is fraudulent, it can be removed long before it ever reaches your ERP system. So DocLink in that regard provides an extra layer of security to your accounts payable.
We do have another question, but I believe some of it might have already been answered. Can existing documents in Acumatica be migrated out of Acumatica and moved into DocLink?
Yes, we do have the ability to transfer those documents from your Acumatica database into DocLink so that they're available for search and retrieval and recall from the transaction. And in doing so, free up that space in your Acumatica database.
At this time, I'm not really seeing any more questions. If anybody wants to reach out and ask any more questions.
Okay, I think there is one more in the Q&A section.
I must have missed it.
That's okay. It's a new one, I think, that came through. When scanning documents, does DocLink validate customers, items, and vendors from the ERP system?
Yes, Kayla saw that. We did answer that question. The answer is yes.
Sorry, I apologize.
That's all right. That's all right. Yes, we do validate all three of those.
And what ERPs do you work with, Dan?
We integrate with Acumatica and with all of the Dynamics product lines. So Dynamics GP, Dynamics 365 Business Central, 365 F&O. What else am I missing? Even some of the other historical legacy programs as well. Any other questions?
I am not seeing anything coming through.
All right. Then I would like to personally thank Colleen and Kayla and Crestwood Associates for inviting us to provide this presentation today. I hope that everybody has learned something. I hope that everybody is excited about what they saw, what they learned, and are seeing the possibilities. I certainly hope that you will reach out to your Crestwood Associates representative and that we will be talking one-on-one about your particular requirements very soon. With that, Colleen, thank you.
Thanks, Dan. Appreciate it. And thanks, Lauren and Kayla, for working together to put this together, and to all of the clients that attended. Have a great day.
Thanks, everyone.